Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to my 3 takeaways episode from the Vicky Oliver interview that I just posted this past Monday. This was one of my favorite recent interviews. I never want to say that any of them were my favorite, but this one is so relatable to anybody who listened to this because it talks about basically relationships with other individuals and specifically relationships with your boss or relationships specifically with your coworkers, but relationships in general because relationships are things that we all need to improve on, and we all need to learn how to better develop and how to better resolve conflicts and everything of that nature. And this does a great job of specifically honing in on, like I said, coworkers and bosses, but you can transition this stuff to regular relationships as well. But make sure you go back and listen to it if you have anybody that you work with, if you have any boss that just absolutely bugs the crap out of you, or somebody that you're just looking to figure out, how do I deal with them? How do I communicate them? How do I let them know that I'm not agreeing with their ideas, but in a respectful manner? How do I dodge my boss screaming at me? How do I respond when they do scream at me? Make sure you listen to this episode because she gave so many different great tactics. And the things that I loved the most was how she talked about how you can respond to criticism, because that's one of the toughest things for all of us, to be able to figure out how to respond to criticism. I know that I struggle with that. So she gives great tactics and tips for you to be able to do that in an effective manner. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into my 3 takeaways. Today's going to be a little bit different because I actually have 5 takeaways. There was just too much jam-packed information here in this episode that I could only boil it down to 5. And I really had more that I wanted to say, but I got 5 for you. So I'll go a little bit quicker since it's more than 3. So takeaway number 1 is keep meticulous family trees and don't be shy about needing a job. So this is basically her advice to people who are looking for a job and how to go about doing that effectively. Keep meticulous family trees, meaning that if I go and meet somebody and they introduce me to somebody else, make sure I keep a line of individuals of like how I got to know somebody because I was introduced to them through them, and I was introduced to that person through that person, and from that person through that person. If you're able to keep meticulous family trees, it helps you do a few things. You can relate those other people into the conversations that you have with them. So you're already building some sort of rapport with them because you know somebody that they know. So that immediately sparks some kind of conversation, and it shows them that you actually care about the people that you meet. And the other part of this was don't be shy about needing a job. I think a lot of times people, if they don't have a job, are shy about it because sometimes it can give you a sense of lack of self-worth if you don't have a job. But when the reality of the situation is everybody doesn't have a job at some point in time or another. And if you're not shy about needing one, then other people can help you get one, right? If they don't know you need a job, how are they going to help you actually get one? Takeaway number 2 is the grass isn't always greener at another company. And I think this was my favorite overall kind of takeaway from Vicky in general, was that take responsibility for the level of relationships that you're having wherever you are. If you're at a current job or in a current relationship that is not functioning well, the boss is horrible, the relationship is horrible, the coworker is terribly mean to you, then take responsibility for it. Now, that doesn't mean culpability. Culpability means it's your fault, essentially. But responsibility means something different. It means that I'm going to do whatever I can do to either improve this or change the situation. So if you can get tools and tips from a negative situation in one place, but then you take responsibility and you accept another job, there's still probably going to be some sort of disagreement that you have with somebody at that next job. But if you have acquired the tools and tips from your past experience, then you'll be able to use that as part of your toolkit and your future negative experience. Takeaway number 3 is when you change jobs, show that you are carrying forward a lesson. She talks about this when you're in an interview with somebody else. What's the thing that they really want to see? Like if you were let go or for whatever reason, why ever you left, you have to come away with some sort of life lesson from that. So they know it wasn't just a negative situation for both parties, but they think that you did this intentionally for some sort of reason and you actually had a lot of thought behind it. It doesn't want to be a thought. The future employer doesn't want to think that you made a thoughtless act by leaving that past job. Takeaway number 4 is resolve conflicts in a quiet, stress-free environment. And I have this on there because it's such a great tip, both for in the workplace and outside of the workplace. If you're in a conflict with somebody and you guys have high tension and you're back and forth, high opinion, huge opinion, back and forth, that is just not a great time to try to resolve that conflict. You're going to end up saying something mean to the other person. They're going to end up saying something mean to you, and you could completely have a catastrophic situation where you no longer have any kind of relationship with that individual. So wait some time after, grab a cup of coffee, grab a drink with them, and then solve the conflict from there. And takeaway number 5 is when you get criticism, write an action plan with that person. And I talked about this in the intro, how she gave you tools when you get criticism from somebody else. And this is one of them. When you get criticism, ask them, okay, I have another chance to kind of do something similar to this sometime in the future. What can I do what can I do next time in order to be better than I was this time? Is there a particular course I can take? Is there a video I can watch? Can you sit down with me for 10 minutes and teach me what you know so I don't make that same mistake? Because if you come up with an action plan with the person that is critical of you, both they know that you heard it and they always want you to hear their criticism if they're giving it to you. And 2, you show that you're taking responsibility for that lack of whatever you lack by wanting to improve yourself. And so that person will respect you more. And they'll either be like, okay, here's what I can do to help you. Or they'll be like, maybe I was a little bit too critical in the first place. So again, guys, my 5 takeaways real quick. Number 1, when you're looking for a new job, keep meticulous family trees and don't be shy about needing a job. Number 2 is the grass isn't always greener at another company. So take responsibility for it and improve yourself for future situations. Takeaway number 3 is when you change jobs, show that you're carrying forward a lesson so that leaving that past job or getting fired from that past job wasn't just a thoughtless action by you or them. Takeaway 4 was resolve conflicts in a quiet, stress-free environment. It is never a good idea where tempers are flaring high to try to resolve a conflict then. And then takeaway number 5 was when you get criticism, write an action plan with that person. Show them that you're taking their criticism the right way and that you want to take ownership of it and improve yourself because of what they said. If you guys enjoy these 5 takeaways, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you rate and review it. Make sure you share it with a friend. This episode with Vicky was so powerful because everybody is going to experience needing to interview for a job or having a bad relationship with a coworker or a boss, and everybody's going to be able to have situations where they can apply these tools and tactics that she gives. So I hope you guys got something from the takeaways. I hope you got something from the podcast that you feel that can help you get closer and closer to your best you.